What if a medieval fortress, born of fantasy, were suspended over the water, unreachable, almost a mirage? Such a place exists, a secret hidden among the emerald waters of an Italian lake. Today I'm taking you on a journey that goes beyond mere geography, immersing you in a visual fairy tale that comes to life in the heart of Lombardy. We're about to explore an island that isn't just earth and stone, but a true dream come true, a tale suspended between history and legend. Get ready to discover Loreto Island, a slice of paradise that holds centuries old mysteries and a castle that seems to have emerged from an ancient parchment. What's really hidden in this isolated gem, and how did it become what it is today? Imagine sailing on the calm waters of Lake Iseo, a jewel nestled in the Prealps. As the boat glides silently suddenly, a vision emerges from the deep green of the lake that defies logic and enchants the eye. It is not an illusion nor a distant mirage, but a tiny rock that, against all odds, supports an entire architecture. This is the island of Loreto, a handkerchief of land so small that its sole grandiose inhabitant, a neo Gothic castle, seems to cover it completely, leaving just enough space for a few trees that cling tenaciously to the ground. It is an apparition, an island you don't expect, a true jewel that reveals itself only to those who are curious enough to seek it. His presence is so dominant that the castle and the island become one, a single entity that defies time and space. This castle is no ordinary building. It is not just stone and mortar, it is a work of art, a bold expression of a dream. Its crenellated towers soar towards the sky, almost as if they want to touch the clouds, with an elegance reminiscent of the fortresses of ancient legends. Every battlement, every projection seems sculpted with maniacal care, a reminder of an era when architecture was poetry. But it's not just a fortress, it's also a landmark, a lighthouse that once guided boats on dark nights, its lights shining through the darkness of the lake. The mighty and imposing walls do not stop at the shore, but dive directly into the crystalline waters of Lake Iseo, like stone roots sinking into a green abyss. This fusion between the work of man and the natural element creates an image of magnificence and mystery that leaves you breathless. One almost gets the impression that the castle was not built but arose spontaneously from the lake, like an ancient deity emerging from the depths. Every corner of it tells a story of grandeur and an aura of secrecy that surrounds it. It is an architecture that does not simply occupy a space, but defines it, transforms it into something magical and unforgettable. A castle that, with its grandeur and almost fairy tale beauty, seems to whisper ancient stories to anyone who observes it. But Loreto Island has not always been home to this magnificent castle. Its history has roots in a much more ancient past, a time when silence and prayer were its only inhabitants. Centuries ago, this tiny rock was home to an ancient monastery, a place of retreat and contemplation. The monks, guardians of a simple and devout life, lived here far from the hustle and bustle of the world, dedicating their days to meditation and work under the protection of the saints and the blessing of the waters. The island was a sanctuary, a spiritual beacon, a place where voices rose in Gregorian chants and thoughts soared toward infinity. Its walls, although different from the current ones, had already seen generations of dedicated lives pass by. Of silences interrupted only by the rustle of the wind and the light lapping of the waves. It was a place of peace, a sacred hermitage pulsating with a deep inner life, a symbol of faith and resilience in the midst of the wilderness. And then, as often happens in fairy tales, a magical and unexpected twist completely transformed the island's destiny. Imagine a navy captain, a seafarer accustomed to sailing oceans and braving storms, who one day, perhaps by chance, finds himself sailing on this placid lake. This man, fascinated by the beauty of the place and the history that emanated from that small rock, had a vision. He was not a visionary in the common sense of the term, but a dreamer with the will to transform dreams into concrete reality. His name was Vincenzo Ricciede. It was he who, at the end of the 19th century, purchased the island and saw in what remained of the ancient monastery not a ruin to be restored, but a blank canvas on which to paint his greatest aspiration. This captain did not simply want a home, but a private fortress, a castle that was a reflection of his adventurous soul and his deep love for beauty, and so with unwavering determination he began to transform that fragment of land. What had once been a place of asceticism became the stage for a bold dream. Captain Riccide created a monumental work, a neo-Gothic castle that not only respected the historical charm of the island, but he amplified it, adding a touch of romance and mystery. Every stone laid, every tower raised was a step toward the realization of a dream literally turned to stone. Imagine the noise of the hammers, the voices of the workers, the constant coming and going of boats loaded with materials, all busy building this isolated marvel. But the captain's dream wasn't limited to the castle alone. He wanted the island to be a complete oasis, a refuge not only for his family but also for nature. Thus, around the fortress, he created an enchanted garden, a green lung that embraced the stone. Carefully chosen larches and pines were planted to enrich the landscape, creating a perfect contrast between the grandeur of the castle and the delicacy of nature. These trees, grown over time today, form a lush frame, a miniature forest that smells of resin and earth, making the island a true sanctuary of peace and beauty. It had become his personal refuge, a place where he could find peace and inspiration, far from the commitments and din of the world. The story of Loreto Island is the story of how a singular vision and an unstoppable passion can transform a place, making it not just a piece of history but a living monument to the power of human dreams. Loreto Island, with its imposing castle and fascinating history, is not just a physical place, it is an atmosphere, an emotion, an entity pulsating with romance and mystery. Its inaccessibility to the public adds an extra layer of charm. You can't just dock and visit it, stroll through its gardens, or explore its rooms. What remains is an image, a desire, a vision that can only be admired from afar, from the waters of the lake or from its shores. And it is precisely this nature of a forbidden land that makes it even more seductive, a jealously guarded treasure, a secret that fuels the curiosity of anyone who sees it. When you look at it, it's easy to believe it's a mirage, a blurry image dancing on the water, ready to vanish with the first blink of an eye. But it is real, tangible, yet so suspended between dream and reality that it appears almost ethereal. The island is an enigma waiting to be deciphered, a puzzle whose solution lies within its walls and in the folds of time. Every glance cast towards it is an attempt to penetrate its veil of mystery, to steal a fragment of its history, of its soul. One wonders what stories were whispered between its towers, what secrets were kept in its recesses, what lives animated its spaces. The sound that most characterizes it is silence, a deep and almost sacred silence, interrupted only by the gentle lapping of the waves against its stone walls. This rhythmic and constant beat of the lake creates a natural soundtrack, a song of nature that envelops the island in an aura of magic. It is as if the lake itself were singing a lullaby to its most precious jewel, protecting and nourishing it with its constant presence. This silence and its untouchable beauty add a touch of magic, making it seem like a fragment of another world, a place where time has slowed its pace, almost stopping. Loreto Island transports you to another dimension, to a timeless era, where the hands of the clock no longer have any meaning. Every detail, from the patina of the stones to the vibrant green of the vegetation, suggests an ancient narrative, a saga that has been unfolding for centuries. The wind, caressing the towers and insinuating itself between the larches, seems to whisper forgotten stories, legends of monks and captains, of bold dreams and solitary lives. He is an invisible narrator who carries with him the echoes of the past, making the island a true living archive of memories. And then there's the incessant play of light. The sun, on its daily path, dances with the castle's shadows, creating ever changing light effects. At dawn, when the first golden rays strike the walls, the island seems to awaken, painted in warm and promising hues. At sunset, the colors become more intense. The castle is tinged with red and orange, and its silhouettes stretch out on the water, transforming the entire scene into a breathtaking painting. At night, under the moonlight, the island becomes a mysterious silhouette, an imposing shadow standing out against the starry sky, even more enigmatic and fascinating. This spectacle of light and shadow makes Loreto Island a constantly evolving visual experience, a place that never ceases to surprise and enchant, revealing each time a different aspect of his deep and fascinating personality. When you are lucky enough to see it from above, perhaps through drone footage or aerial photographs, Loreto Island reveals itself in all its incredible magnificence. From this privileged perspective, it is no longer just a castle on a rock, but a true pearl of stone and nature, set like a precious diamond in a green blue ring. Its compact shape, the perfect harmony between the work of man and the natural landscape, make it an iconic, almost unreal image. One gets the impression that it is not an earthly place, but rather an illustration from the pages of an ancient storybook, a place where dragons and knights might still roam. It is proof that imagination can take shape, even in the heart of prosaic Lombardy, a region we often associate with industriousness and modernity. And yet, right here in Lake Iso, this jewel is hidden, a reminder of a bygone era, a bridge between myth and reality. The island of Loreto is a hidden treasure, which continues to enchant and fascinate anyone who is lucky enough to cross its gaze. It is the guardian of age old secrets, of stories whispered by the wind and the waves, of lives lived between prayer and ambition. Its timeless beauty, its aura of mystery make it a symbol, a beacon that reminds us of man's ability to dream big and to transform even the boldest dreams into concrete reality. It's an invitation to look beyond the surface, to seek magic in unexpected places, to let yourself be transported by the history and poetry that permeate our world. Loreto Island is not just a dot on a map, it is an experience, an emotion, a story that continues to live and inspire, a legend that is renewed with every dawn. A legacy of beauty and mystery that we hope will continue to enchant for generations to come. If you're fascinated by this fairy tale suspended on water, don't miss our next trip to Italy's most secret places.